really familiar. I've seen you before, haven't I?
Barry.
Barry.
Barry Allen.
Right,
It's fine.
sorry.
Some people are just meant to be in your life.
What am I going to do with you?
Well, I can think of a few things. Might need a stretch first, though.
You told me the dead don't want anything. Either I'm willing to do whatever is necessary, or I shouldn't be up there at all.
Which is exactly why I can't be.
You can't kill murder. You can't get revenge on evil. You can only fight them where they live.
All right.
The
Moving on to Central
Flash.
City.
That's right.
Moving on to The Flash, episode 6 of the 3rd season, Shade. And I have some issues with this episode. Let's just put it out there.
Yeah.
All right. So, Shade, written by Emily Silver and David Cobb, directed by J.J. Maccaro.
Okay.
And what's our A, B, and C, Karen?
A is Diary of a Gimpy Kid instead of Wimpy Kid.
Right.
B story, Dampening the Mood.
Mm-hmm.
And C story, The Dating Game.
The Dating Game. Okay. So Diary.
A couple people had dates in this episode. Julian.
That's true.
So I'm talking about him being unavailable because of a date.
Okay. So Diary of a Gimpy Kid.
Kid Flash.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, so, yes, we have Kid Flash here. Wally West, thank you for pointing that out.
Mm-hmm.
So we have Wally is suffering these recent dreams. We start off the episode actually with him as Kid Flash in a dream sequence.
Right.
And because they starts off the whole, my name is Wally West and blah, 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 blah.
And I am the fastest man alive.
Yeah, so... So that was kind of cool.
It was.
Sadly, it turned out to be a dream sequence.
Well, didn't you know when he was talking that it was probably a fantasy or something?
Yeah, pretty much. So Wally's having visions of Flashpoint, of course, as a result of what, as we know, is probably the old Dr. Alchemy up to no good.
Right.
Yeah.
That's my impression of Dr.
Wally
Alchemy.
is not taking the idea that he doesn't have superpowers well at all.
No.
And
he's wanted to help since last season when he got in his car.
And Alchemy
and went out there.
keeps summoning Wally to him. So they're like, okay, well, let's just lock you in one of these cells for your own safety.
Which is actually a very smart idea.
Right. And he's not happy about it.
Right.
He unloads, and Iris is there, and it's kind of really awkward.
Well, he agrees with it at first.
Yeah.
Until...
And then somehow Alchemy gets inside and is able to etch his name into the glass. Why he does this, I don't know.
Maybe it has some power if he can do that.
I don't know, but I don't know why he does it, but he does it. So he can spell it alchemy because he thinks it's cool.
Yeah, sure. If you could do that, wouldn't you do that?
I guess so, but anyway...
Is that irritating?
A little bit. That's okay. Yeah, okay.
Right?
Sorry, everyone. Anyway, so Wally ends up volunteering, though, later in the episode to lead the team to capture Alchemy so he can stop these crazy memories from happening, which are bugging him. So Barry, Joe, and like a SWAT team locate Alchemy and his followers somehow.
Right.
And surround them. But guess what? There's another speedster there.
That's right.
And apparently it's one only Barry can see because he's moving so fast with that speed-geared vision of his.
Mm-hmm.
That's an old school reference for you Flash fans.
That's right.
Speed-geared vision. And so the speedster attacks them. As Barry's fighting it, Alchemy entices Wally to pick up his fallen rock, but we know it as the Philosopher's Stone.
Right.
And But
Because
Wally ends up
alchemist.
Exactly. So Wally ends up getting encased in a crystal cocoon. Hopefully he's not an inhuman.
No, I'm thinking that's how he gets turned into a husk, right?
Pretty much. And the speedster, who suddenly calls himself Savitar, despite looking a lot like Megatron,
Right.
the Transformers movie,
Right.
the Michael Bay Transformers movie,
Yeah.
overpowers Barry and prepares to stab him.
And says
That's
he
our
is
cliffhanger. And I am the god of speed.
Yeah. God of speed.
Yeah. No, Godspeed's a totally different character in DC Comics Rebirth, but,
I know.
So.
I was rolling my eyes at that.
Yeah.
But hey.
Yeah. So apparently we have, kind of a letdown for me for seeing Savitar in this like CGI form that looks a lot like Megatron.
Right. And to call himself the god of speed.
Should call him Megatar, maybe.
Megatar would be cool.
Megatar. Let's call him Megatar.
Okay.
That's my nickname.
Or how about Savitron?
Savitron would work as well.
Savitron sounds kind of cool, actually.
Savitron. Maybe we'll go with Savitron. I'm kind of warming to it.
Okay, good.
Let's go with Savitron.
Savitron.
Yeah, I can't do that right now.
Savitron. I know you can't.
Yeah, you have to do it.
Sorry. Yeah, and the one thing I did like about that last scene was the special effect of Barry seeing the weirdness in the room.
Right.
That was kind of cool.
That was cool, and it kind of made it like it was good because it obviously Barry being a speedster, he's going to be more sensitive to this.
Right.
And it also kind of sets him apart from the others. So I kind of like that too.
I liked it. And then Alchemy, of course, showing up. And I was like, oh, come on, unmask him. Please unmask him.
Well, we know who it's going to be under that mask, don't we?
Nope.
No?
I do not think it's Julian.
You think it's a red herring?
So red herring.
Okay.
Because they call it out like, hey, look, it's Julian. He's out on a date. He's unavailable. Look, it has to be him. Come on.
Well, maybe.
It's Cecilia.
You think it's Cecile?
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
She has access to everything that Julian does, too.
She is small like Julian is.
Mm-hmm.
That's an interesting theory.
I think it's Cecile.
And they have tried to do that. Yeah, it's possible.
I think they're really, really pushing Julian on us.
I don't know, but we'll see.
I know everyone thinks it's Julian.
I agree with you. It does seem a little obvious that you have a character named Julian Albert, and Dr. Alchemy's real name in the comics is Albert Desmond.
I know. And they said, he can't come with us. He's unavailable. We can't get him on the phone. He has a date.
Okay. And Cecile keeps just showing up in cameos.
Right?
Just all of a sudden, like, hey, I'm here.
Right.
Like, I'm just showing up. Oh, yeah. Okay, 1 week I'm sort of, like, reminding Joe that I exist because I showed up last season.
Mm-hmm.
And then now I'm showing up. I kind of like this theory. It's an intriguing theory.
She showed up and she made sure that Barry was there with Julian, and now he's on the task force, full time. So she knows who's on the task force. She has access to all that information. We know that.
And they do have Dr. Alchemy in robes, so you can't really gauge
anything.
Physical form if it's a man or a woman.
And the voice is completely...
The mask, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of liking this theory.
Mm-hmm.
So while we're on the subject of theories, let's go back to my theory.
Let's do.
With a certain H.R. Wells.
Let's do.
Hipster Wells.
Yeah.
Now, as I've postulated before... my theory is that H.R. Wells is another bad guy of The Flash.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And because of things like, him being so fond of gesturing with his drumsticks all the time, like a wand.
Right.
My theory is that he's actually Abracadabra, the last of Barry's classic Rogues Gallery villains that we haven't seen on the TV show yet. And this week, I think we've got a little bit more evidence to this, because there's a scene that Hipster Wells, as I like to call him,
I hate that though.
He wants to reopen Star Labs as a museum, and he wants to use himself as the face of the new attraction.
Mm-hmm.
And
on
they say
stage, essentially, right?
But they point out, like, Cisco and everyone points out, like, oh, by the way, your face is like a well-known murderer, so maybe you shouldn't step outside the lab.
Right. And he's very upset by that.
Okay, yeah, he is. So he comes back later in the episode, and he has a completely different face, and he somehow has invented this face changer gadget, despite, as we've established, not being a scientific guy.
Right.
Right? So he has this face changer gadget that all of a sudden he just whipped up.
Right.
And but Cisco takes the gadget from him, says, I'm keeping it until I get these metahuman cuffs back that apparently Hipster Wells stole from him.
Well, he thinks that he did.
He thinks so he stole from him, yes. Right. Now, upon this revelation that, he has a different face and he's using this face changer gadget, Hipster Wells applauds himself for his such a grandiose, like, reveal, a rather theatrical reveal.
Right.
He actually applauds himself. And as we know, Abracadabra loves applause.
Right. That's such a good theory. I saw it the whole way through this episode.
And once again, he's gesturing with those drumsticks. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you can't get it once you start thinking about that. You're like, oh, he's
even
waving it around like a wand.
The face changer thing is a little thin thing.
Yep. Now he talks about, like, well, I'm being, like, from a different Earth or whatever, but I'm thinking 64th century.
Sure.
Or maybe Earth. The different Earth is in the 64th century. Who knows?
Could be.
We'll find out. But I think more evidence to my Abracadabra theory. That's all I'm saying.
I think so too. Ta-da! He goes like that.
Thank you for the applause.
Yeah, yes. You're welcome.
Well, we'll see. I'm not, we're not certain yet, but
it's more evidence. More evidence. I agreed with you.
Once he started applauding himself. I'm like, come on, it's right there.
Right. Yeah, once you posed that, when I watched it this week, I was like, you know what? That is such a great theory. It really, really is.
So that's my other great theory.
Yeah. And he comes up with hey, I found this in my stuff.
Yes. Right. Come on.
No,
really?
He whipped it up is what he did.
What else does he have in that bag of stuff?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Just saying.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. Dampening the mood, I'm guessing that's reference to the shade.
No, that's the dampeners.
Oh. Well, that's what I thought they used to put on shade.
It is, but...
Oh, you mean for Caitlin?
It's Caitlin first.
Right.
So Caitlin actually stole the dampeners.
Yes.
And she got outed in this episode.
Yeah, there's a scene where Caitlin reveals her powers to Cisco, and she has him vibe her so that she can know her future. And we get a little tease of the future where Cisco, as Vibe, is fighting Killer Frost. Mm-hmm. So Cisco's like, nothing happened.
Right. He totally lies to her.
Yes.
But then he encourages her to tell the others by giving her away, essentially. And she wasn't ready to do that, except she thanks him later for her outing him and outing her. And she also pushes him. She says, I know when you're lying.
Right. So
tell me I'm her, right? And he says, yeah. And he comes clean with her about the thing. And she says, well, not all your vibes have come true, right?
Well, actually they have.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah. So, and then Barry also confesses his part in this because He thinks that her powers came from him creating Flashpoint.
Right.
Whether that's the case or not, we don't know.
Right.
But
although
that's what we have
she didn't have those powers in Flashpoint. He says that.
Right.
That she was that obstetrician or
the eye doctor. Yeah.
Ophthalmologist or whatever.
Ophthalmologist, I think.
Thank you. Whatever it was. Obstetrician. What the hell's wrong
Totally
with me?
different doctor.
Yeah, completely different doctor. So yeah, yeah, she didn't have powers. He does say that. You didn't have powers in Flashpoint, but it still could have happened because of what I did. So, and then she explains, yes, I went to my mother, and she said the more I use my power, the more it's going to manifest. So, and there's all this other stuff. So they take the dampeners to use on Shade.
Yeah, which I was very let down by the Shade. Yeah. Or, excuse me, Shade. Right. He's not the Shade. And as a Starman geek, I was really hoping to get the proper Shade.
Yeah.
The Shade. The definite article, you might say.
Right.
But we didn't get that. We got some lame, basically a version of the Shadow Thief.
Right.
And they lock him up and big deal. And he has zero character
background. Were you hoping for Shade the Changing Man or?
No.
Shade.
I was hoping the Shade. It's this classic Jay Garrick Flash villain.
Oh, okay.
That had a huge part in James Robinson's Starman.
Okay.
I don't know if you ever read that series, but it's a very great series. So,
all right,
highly recommended, James Robinson Starman. But so I was really hoping for that Shade, but we didn't get that.
No, it was just a big black shape that was never really defined.
Yeah, no,
as anything.
It's just a complete throwaway of a villain, so a complete letdown.
Right.
Yeah. And then the big waste. So, all right. Anything else about this episode?
Mm-mm.
Okay. What's your rating for this episode?
I liked it mostly because of my theory.
You have a good theory.
So I gave it 8.
I will give you credit for your theory since you gave credit to mine.
Okay. I will give it 8.5 stubborn kids.
Okay. I was not as into this episode for obvious reasons. Let down by the Shade, and of course, let down by Savitar. That was a big letdown for me. And I think it was a big letdown for a lot of people that wanted something better.
Yeah.
So I gave it 8, and I had to spell this out because you can't, in our Google Docs, you can't do the crossed out words. Right. So I had to do 8 Megatron Savitar action figures.
Very nice.
Or as we'll call it, 8 Savitron action figures.
Savitron. I like it. Savitron.
Okay. I give you all the credit for that.
Thank you.
You get all the creds.
And if it turns out to be Cecile,
that will definitely get credit for that.
Okay, awesome. What do I get?
What do you want?
Will you go to church with me?
Okay, Ella.
I don't go to church, so. All right, Arrow.
I'll give you a hug. How's it?
That works. Arrow,
episode 7 of the 5th season. Well, apparently it doesn't work. No hug.
No, not the hug. I'm talking about
fail.
The arrow.
Oh, okay. That's for Arrow. Big fail. Okay. I wonder where Karen's rating's going to fall.
Well, look at your rating.
Yeah, that's true. Episode 7 of the 5th season, Vigilante, written by Ben Sokolowski and Emilio Ortega Aldrich.
Yes.
Directed by Gordon Verheul.
Verheul. Okay.
And our A, B, and C, Karen, if you would.
Serialized storyline.
Mm-hmm.
Serial killers, as it were. B story. Very personal banking.
Yes.
C story, Russian cross. And then the little bit at the end, Artemis turncoat.
I see what you did there. Very nice. Okay, serialized storyline.
Okay, so seriously, could the Arrowlettes be any more back and forth on this? Hey, he's on our side. He's killing the bad guy.
Yeah.
Except you were killing the bad guy, and we didn't like you for that.
But we're okay with the vigilante killing bad guys.
Right.
Yes.
This is the big part of the story that I was upset about.
Karen, this is Arrow.
No.
Period. That's all you have to say is because Arrow. Period.
Okay, but I was just putting this out there right away is and you know what? Oliver even says it in this episode.
The bar for writing on Arrow has lowered so far.
Yeah.
If we get an even remotely coherent storyline, it's a win.
Right.
Right?
Right.
At this point.
I'm starting to wonder if I like the flashbacks this season because they're just better than the main storyline, or if they are really good. Is it just because they're better than the main storyline and the main storyline's bad?
I think it's just that it's always interesting to have the Russian mob.
Right.
Russian mob stories are always interesting.
And Dolph Lundgren is good.
And Dolph Lundgren's cool, and they've done well with the flashbacks.
Right.
But also it's a nice contrast. That storyline makes more sense than the main storyline that we're getting. So
Right.
It seems better.
Well, yeah, this is what I'm saying.
I think it seems better by comparison.
Right.
Yes.
So is it just
great,
by comparison, or is it because it is actually good? I don't know. But Dolph Lundgren chews scenery really well.
He does. Now, hopefully, I don't know if this will be the last we see of him.
Maybe.
But unless he shows up in present day or something.
Yeah.
We'll find out. So we open up with a vigilante gunning down an entire gang of criminals as they try to sell off a girl into the slave market. A little human trafficking going on. Keep waiting for Daredevil to show up and kick some ass.
Right?
But alas, that was not the case.
Or Punisher.
Yeah. Well, we do have a Punisher, Dolph Lundgren. If you remember, Dolph Lundgren was the first movie Punisher.
The worst,
but he was the first.
Horrible movie.
It was not a great movie.
About as good as the first Fantastic Four movie.
No, I'd rank that higher.
Really? The one where they wore like sweatshirts with the
Roger
four on
Corman
it?
one?
Yeah.
I'd still rank the Roger Corman
Would you?
higher than, yeah.
Okay.
Just for the fact that they got Doctor Doom right, which is none of the other Fantastic Four movies have done.
Okay.
So, there.
But the Dolph Lundgren Punisher.
As bad as Doctor Doom was in that, he was still better than anything else we've gotten with Doctor Doom.
All right. I'll give that to you. Yeah.
Okay. So the vigilante leaves like two of the gang members' bodies outside the police department in the shape of a V, blah, blah, blah. They got V's on their blood, on their cheeks drawn in blood because apparently we have to do a big V motif.
Right. Because why not identify yourself?
Yes.
If you're going to kill people, please.
Go ahead and incriminate yourself.
Right.
Well done. Yeah, why not? Well, if you're trying to send a message as a vigilante.
I love how you do that. You go, well done.
Well, yeah. Sure, why not?
Why would you do that, though? Why wouldn't you just kill them and move on?
If you're trying to send a message.
Why would you send a message?
Because you're maybe cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs? Yeah. Okay.
Cough, Tommy, cough.
So now, yes, we got this big ideological split among the Arrowettes. But some people that apparently really had a problem with Oliver killing people now suddenly think the vigilante's cool.
Right.
Which makes, again, as Karen pointed out, makes no sense whatsoever.
Absolutely no sense.
So, yeah. The vigilante ends up, the team ends up posing as bank robbers to lure the vigilante. And then I think this kind of leads into very personal banking.
Right. Those masks were pretty funny, though.
Yeah. So basically they get the same Halloween masks that the other criminals that were robbing banks got.
Did they remind you of this?
Phrasing?
The episode where they're in the mansion and they have those clown masks on.
Yeah, you're right.
They look just like those.
That was kind of like that, yeah. Like a poor man's Dark Knight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Robbery. Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
Basically. So the vigilante shows up, takes Mr. Terrific hostage, which he's supposed to be Mr. Terrific. He shouldn't be being taken hostage.
No.
So right there's a fail. Forces Oliver to bargain. Oliver's like, nope, sorry. Vigilante says his methods aren't working, and that Oliver needs a push to adopt more extreme measures.
Right. Was he not in Star City 5 years ago?
Who knows?
He was, though, because he knows the people in the book.
He should. He should connect that. Oh, remember, I was the Hood, and I was out there killing people. Then I gave that up.
He has to know. It has to be Tommy.
Well, apparently nobody on this show knows that Green Arrow and the Hood are the same person.
He has to know.
Even though it's obvious.
It's Tommy. Please let it be Tommy.
The Vigilante?
Yes, I want it to be.
It's not.
Oh, that's the other guy.
Yeah, Prometheus.
Right, Prometheus.
Yeah, but I don't think it's
the
him
Vigilante
either.
is... No, I know.
The
Vigilante is the DA guy.
Yeah, the DA Adrian Chase. Spoilers. Right. If you read the comics.
Come on.
But yeah, it's...
Is that really a spoiler?
Kind of. It hasn't happened yet on the show.
I guess.
But yeah, it's DA Adrian Chase. Spoilers.
Yeah.
So, and we kind of got a tease for that because Adrian is shown in this interrogation room trying to force other robbers to reveal this guy named Dunn's location.
Right.
And then Green Arrow has to save Dunn from the Vigilante.
Right. And it's the chick robber who, hey, yay for equal rights.
Right. Yeah, I did notice that. There's well, hey, they've actually got a woman in their crew.
Right.
How progressive.
Yeah. And she says, you haven't lost anyone. And he goes, I have lost someone. Blam. And he jams the mask down on the table. And you're like, oh, all right, that's him then. And
I was kind of let down by the Vigilante's voice. I should point this out.
Yeah, okay. And here's where we talk about our feedback.
Yes.
Maggie says on our Facebook page that she went to high school with the guy who does the voice of the Vigilante. You're not fond of the voice. It is modulated, mind you.
Right.
So it's not her friend's voice.
No, I understand that.
Okay. So
yes.
What you're
so Maggie, don't think I'm being personal against your friend.
Right.
Please don't.
What you're upset about is how they modulate his voice.
Exactly.
Right. So it's awesome that Maggie went to high school with the guy who does the voice on the show.
That is pretty cool. I will give you that. That is really cool.
And what I say to you, Maggie, is tell us who plays the other
voice?
guy. No, the other guy. Tell us who is under the hood of the other guy.
Oh.
Tell her to get us the down low on Prometheus. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. What's the DL on Prometheus there?
Yeah. Get us inside info.
You sound like you have some sources.
That's right.
How about time to exploit those sources?
That's right.
Help us out. Give us a scoop.
Get us the down low on Prometheus, please.
What a scoop. All right. So, let's see where else. We did very personal banking. And then, I forgot to say that. So Oliver ends up shooting the gun out of Vigilante's hands as he tries to shoot Mr. Terrific, then ties him up. And then just as he tries to unmask the Vigilante, of course, there's a booby trap.
Right.
And Oliver gets sent flying across the room from shock and electric shock. And then the Vigilante escapes.
He's gone. Mm-hmm.
Because Oliver never saw it coming.
No. And it so frustrates me. Because he needs to be unmasked.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So.
And then, of course, they meet up later, right? Don't they meet up again? And they have that little showdown where he says, one of you guys are going to die. And then if you're not with me, you're against me. And then Oliver says, well, I'm not with you.
Right.
Isn't this later in the episode?
I think that's the trailer for next week or next time, maybe. No,
it was in this episode.
But was it in this episode?
And Deagle's behind them, and the three of them were behind him.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry. You're right. Right.
I think it's afterwards where they have that showdown, and Vigilante's like, well, if you're not with me, you're against me, and Oliver says, well, I'm not with you, and he says, well, then you're against me, and there was this something that happens afterwards, and he gets away again.
Yeah. So he gets away.
They're all like,
yeah. We'll follow this up later because we have this big 100th episode with the invasion coming up, so we got to deal with that first.
Right.
We'll pick up.
That's where they're saying it. Yeah. So it's pretty much just a showdown of, well,
okay, so,
we'll agree to disagree.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
We'll agree to disagree.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Now, before we do Russian Cross, let's do the Artemis turncoat.
Okay.
So someone is working.
That was our big, someone's working for Prometheus, giving them some little inside info.
That's right.
And we find out that at the end of the episode, that Artemis, in the Judas contract.
Right.
Yeah, so.
She is feeding him information.
She's feeding him information.
He doesn't know anything.
Unless, of course, Evelyn is a triple agent.
Do you think? I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I think she's still blaming Oliver for the death of her parents
I think
or whatever.
So too.
Yeah.
Now, granted, maybe she will come around at some dramatic point later in the season.
Sure.
But for right now, she's working with Prometheus.
Mm-hmm.
She's Team Prometheus.
Yeah.
Who we are hoping is Tommy Merlin, but it's probably Felicity's boyfriend, Billy.
Do you think so?
Yeah, I think so.
God, I want it to be Tommy so bad.
I want it to be Tommy so bad, too, but...
Why would Billy have that book? It wouldn't make any sense.
Because Arrow. Just saying.
Once
again, because Arrow.
It needs to tie into season 1, and it would be such a cool twist to actually tie into season 1 and not just be, hey, I'm the son of some guy in that book.
Well, and also because of Flashpoint, Tommy Merlin could still be alive.
That's what I'm saying.
So it's there.
Right.
Here's hoping.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
Okay, Russian Cross.
Russian Cross.
They're beating him up, trying to get information out of him.
Yeah. Kovar introduces Oliver to his servant Galena, who's Tiana's mother, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
And he also claims that the Bratva has only been using Oliver for their own ends.
Right.
Including making a deal with him.
Right.
And then Kovar kicks Oliver back to the Bratva.
Right.
Basically. That's their flashback.
Yep. It was good, though.
It was good.
Because he shows, Tiana's mother, and because Oliver feels responsible for the deaths of her kids.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that kind of guilt trip he's laying on him.
Right.
And Oliver thinks he's got the one-up on Kovar when he, he knocks the guards aside and he's got the knife on Kovar. And then he goes out into the hallway and he's got all these other guards. And 2 of them are from Bratva. Yeah. So this is where Oliver gets that, okay, I might not be in the right place. But we know that he does have ties that are friendly with the Bratva once he gets back. So
I guess we'll
find out something.
But I guess I thought we were Bratva bros,
right?
And we're not.
Right.
So we'll find out.
So we will find out.
Because obviously he needs some Russian ties later on.
Right.
All right. So really quickly, the only thing I wanted to also bring up was that Thea convinces Quentin to go to rehab, but Quentin says, no.
Yeah. He goes.
Well, no, he does.
I know you just wanted to sing the song.
I just wanted to use that, the Amy Winehouse.
Oh, and it was totally a red herring. No one ever believes that it was him.
Yeah, even Quentin's like, no, it can't be me. I was like drunk, dude.
Right.
It can't be me.
No one even believes for a second he was the, quote, throwing star killer, unquote.
Yes. Just the name throwing star.
The arrowhead killer would be better.
Something.
Right.
Anything.
Right. So, no one believed it for a minute. It wasn't even a red herring.
Right.
So, what did you give this episode?
7.5 bank robbing masks. I
give it the same thing. Because of what?
No, I'm just saying because I gave it because of those cheesy Halloween masks.
They were awesome, though. I wouldn't be able to wear it. I would get claustrophobic in those things.
Right. Big rubber mask, yeah.
Yeah. I gave it the same, 7.5. And I said weird visors because the Vigilante, it looks cool from a certain angle, but then when you look at it from a different angle, it looks like paper. Did you notice?
Yeah, I did.
It doesn't look great.
And who is it? Oh, yeah, Curtis keeps referring to him as ski goggles.
Right.
Yeah. Which, if in the comics, in the George Perez design, it does look like ski goggles.
Right.
But,
And that is quite a diss coming from a guy who's got a T painted on his face.
true.
Right?
And braided hair.
He doesn't have a lot of room to talk.
Yeah, he's sporting those Bo Derek braids from 10. Yeah.
With the T on his face.
Yeah, with the T on his face.
Right.
And the fair play written down his sleeves.
Right.
Not quite the fashion template,
No.
shall we say. All right. Moving on to Legends of Tomorrow,
That's
episode
right.
6 of the second season, Outlaw Country.
Woo!
We should have Shirlene saying Outlaw Country.
So we're just done with phrasing, right? That's not a thing anymore?
Yeah.
Outlaw Country. I couldn't help but think of that every single time I saw this title.
I forgot to mention to you that we should have that clip.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's
Sorry.
on me.
Outlaw
That's okay.
Country. Woo!
Outlaw Country. Woo!
Yeah. And then when they got down to South America, Outlaw Different Country. Woo!
I forgot about that. That was a good one. So written by Matthew Mala and Chris Fedek, directed by Sherry Nolan.
Chris Fedek, one of the showrunners behind Chuck.
Alrighty then.
Just letting you know.
Okay, what's our A, B, and C, Karen?
These, you helped me come up with these.
Yes.
A story, Sitting Turnbull, instead of Sitting Bull.
Yep.
B story, What's Mine is Yours, Mine.
You came up with that one.
Bling, bling. Yeah.
Yep.
C story, More Powerful Than a Locomotive. Choo choo.
Yep. And I felt a little lip down to that, more powerful than a locomotive, because I really wanted Brandon Routh to tell Nate that he was more powerful than a locomotive in that scene.
Yeah, it would have been great.
Because that would have been a great in-joke.
Yeah.
But alas, I was not writing that script.
Yeah. And it was mind over matter, wasn't it?
Yes. Mind over matter.
Right?
Yeah, I see what you're saying. That's what you should have went with, mind over matter. That was a good one, too. I like that.
That was, okay, that's my...
Because mind over dwarf star matter. Yeah,
right, see?
Yes. I see what you did there. Very good.
That's
very
an alternate title.
All right, Sitting Turnbull. Okay, so we get the return of Jonathan Schaech as Jonah Hex.
He is so great as Jonah Hex. Do you not agree?
I agree. He's a great Jonah Hex. And even better, Jonah gets his archenemy, Quentin Turnbull,
Played by
Jeff Fahey, our second Lost veteran.
So great.
Yes, because, of course, Jeff Fahey played Frank Lapidus on Lost, who was an awesome character, one of my favorites.
The pilot.
Yes, the pilot, Lapidus.
That's right.
So,
Also on Under the Dome.
Under the Dome.
He was on the first...
Under the Dome is under the
He
ground.
was on the first episode of Under the Dome.
I'm just picking on you.
It's all right. He died on the first episode, so...
Oh, he was? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. I remember because I actually watched that episode.
He had his heart thing explode.
Yeah, I was all let down by that. I was like,
Me
oh
too.
man, I want to see more Jeff Fahey.
I know, right?
Or as the Lawnmower Man, by the way.
He was on The Lawnmower Man, yes.
This is a great movie. That's
Yeah.
where I first saw him. Okay, so we get that. And so the team learns about this aberration in Colorado 1874 because guess what? Another pesky time pirate.
That's right. They got another time quake.
Yes. Because everything has the word time in front of it.
That's right.
Yeah. Wanders into the path of Turnbull, Quentin Turnbull, who shoots him and takes his device, which had been tracking a mineral inside a mine. That mineral, of course, turns out to be dwarf star matter.
That's right.
That same dwarf star matter, which coincidentally is the same power source for Ray's atom suit.
Can you see something coming down the tracks?
Well, yeah, because we've got an invasion coming up again, so we got to get Ray's suit back.
That's right.
Yeah. So he can be Adam, and we don't have to explain.
And some other updated things.
Yeah.
Updated guns and other stuff.
Now, I will talk about, since we're kind of on the subject, I'm really hoping that Ray's updated Atom suit just shrinks.
Yeah? Nothing else?
No flying, no pew-pew laser beams. Because
So no Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah. I want just shrinks. That's all it does. Shrinks and grows back. That's it.
Why?
Because he's the Atom. He's not Iron Man.
Okay. I wouldn't mind if it does something else.
Yeah, but
He's a gadgety guy.
I want a traditional Atom.
He's supposed to be a mix between Atom and
It also keeps him from being too powerful.
Blue Beetle. Because they wanted him to be Ted Cord.
Well, then bring in the Blue Beetle.
I know. I'm just saying they really wanted him to be Ted Cord. But
I know. You're right. Okay. just
so
that bugs me.
they're trying to get that little bit of Ted Cord in there.
Yeah, I'm guessing he'll be back to his normal powerful self.
I don't know. Because now he's got the cold gun. He might incorporate the cold gun into it.
Maybe he'll have a few new gadgets.
Right.
Yeah.
It might be cool if he just incorporated the cold gun and that was it.
So with that cold gun, would that make him Captain Atom?
Cold Atom? Atom?
Well, as we talked about cold fusion.
Oh, cold fusion.
Remember we did that last week?
We did. Fusion? Let's call him that.
Yep.
Cold fusion.
Anyway. All right.
I like that.
So Jonah's there. He ends up getting saved by our crew from being hung.
Right. And he goes, "Oh, it's you again."
Yeah. And even worse, he's not happy because what? Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
That was my new impression.
Oh, that's your new
Jonah
impression.
Hex.
You have a Jonah Hex impression.
Oh, it's you again. How's that?
Like Heatwave with a southern accent.
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
Well, that's why I can do it.
Okay. It's you again.
What y'all doing here?
So what would Heatwave meeting Jonah Hex be like?
What y'all doing here? We came to save you, ass.
All right, that's awesome. All right.
Got any hookers? Yeah, there's a whorehouse down on
horrors?
There's a whorehouse down on the corner. There you go.
All right.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Thank you.
So, I love your impressions. I really do. They're funny.
They're stupid.
That's what makes them great.
Yeah. I know. They're dumb.
Everybody likes them. It's not just me.
I know, but they are so stupid.
But that's what makes them
They're
great.
like 2 sentences.
It's okay. You've caught on to something.
Okay, good.
You've captured their imaginations. All right. So, Jonah reveals that he's fighting this outlaw boss named Quentin Turnbull, but hey, guess what? He's my archenemy from the comics.
Right.
The team learns that Turnbull is extracting Dwarf Star, like we talked about, and that Turnbull is planning to destroy a critical railway connecting the eastern U.S. to the west.
Right.
Stopping the U.S. Army from marching toward the west. Hence our little aberration.
Right, because the U.S. isn't the U.S. anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Yada, yada. So the team goes after Turnbull. Mick confronts him, but his weapons jam. Mm-hmm. He has 2 weapons. They both jam at the same time.
I know.
What's up with that? And where's his heat gun?
I know.
Shouldn't he have his heat gun with him?
The one thing is they were trying not to use those future weapons down there.
Right.
They're trying to use pistols. Right. They're trying to fit in.
Yeah.
Not like he would
But then
normally.
he got Nate turn to steel in front of everybody.
I know.
Okay.
And catch a bullet in his teeth, which was awesome.
Yeah, which is, how does he do that?
That was so awesome. All he did is turn to steel.
Yeah.
He doesn't really have to do much of anything.
But he's suddenly fast enough to catch a bullet in his teeth?
He just had to turn to steel. Period. Okay. And
he was aiming for his mouth anyway, and he just caught it because he turned to steel.
Right. It just goes right there.
Okay.
When he turns to steel, that's it.
Okay. Because I thought he got the glow all of a sudden, the power of the glow. If you ever watched The Last Dragon.
Yeah. We'll just wave it
You
off
will possess the power of the glow.
Are you sure you're not on narcotics?
Oh, actually, I am. I'm on antibiotics.
Yeah?
Does that count?
No.
And I've got codeine for pain.
Oh.
But I'm not taking it at the moment.
Okay.
So.
That's heroin, you know.
Super heroin?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Just saying.
I just watched the special on drugs the other day, and it was saying how they equate to the
I agree.
other
But
drugs.
anyway, but no, I'm not. I'm actually surprisingly lucid. So
okay,
we'll see if that lasts.
You're being silly.
Okay. All right.
It's all right though. I like it.
This is a complete waste of time.
Yes, I know it is. All right, moving on. Okay.
I just did that because it's funny.
It is funny. Okay. So I rolled with it.
Yeah.
So Nate rushes to block this door star bullet with his metal body, but guess what? It pierces his body.
Right.
But I'm steel.
Yeah. Well, but it's
steel.
It's Dwarf Star. Whoops.
It's just, apparently dwarf, and I'm guessing that will be important later on.
Right.
That dwarf star bullet can pierce his body.
Or that dwarf star alloy can hurt him.
Pierce something. Right. Pierce goes through normal metal, or something really tough, or whatever.
Which means that Ray will be able to do something.
So I'm guessing
the rest
that we won't see
can't.
the last of the dwarf star bullets.
Right. Or
I think maybe that's what one of the gadgets that Ray picks up is he had this ability to fire dwarf star bullets.
Or that he'll be able to do something that will need to be done. Period.
Yes.
With his suit or whatever.
This can't be the last we see.
Right.
Dwarf star bullets.
I'm just saying, just something he'll have to make something that happens. Yeah. You know what I'm saying.
So, like, Mick and Amaya destroy the mine. Mm-hmm. Nate, who ends up recovering, ends up using his powers, and this is where we kind of segue into more powerful than locomotive. Mm-hmm. He stops the train. Which in a very cool scene.
Yeah, which they didn't think he could do because the dwarf star matter is very dense, like the poop from Nibbler.
Yes,
on Futurama.
But here's my question: if it was so dense, how are they transporting it on the train?
Right.
Right.
I agree.
Am I the only person that thinks of this
No,
stuff?
I thought the exact same thing.
Okay. Because, I mean, you shouldn't really be able to pick it up.
No.
And put it on the train.
No.
And then move the train.
No. The train shouldn't be going.
I don't care if you've got Doc Brown's little special bricks that, like, bring the steam engine up to 88 miles per hour.
No, it wouldn't be able to. It would.
For you.
The tires would flatten. I mean, they're metal, but you know what I'm saying. They would.
Well, they would fall through the car, right? The train car.
Yeah, at the very least, even if you reinforced the car, the tracks and the little metal wheels would like flatten, right? Yeah. So, yeah, I thought the exact same thing.
All right, but bottom line is, it was a really cool sequence when Nate stopped the train.
It was.
It looked cool.
Awesome. Yeah.
It was, and that's where they obviously spent all their budget, SFX budget.
Right. It was very cool.
It was very cool. All right, so instead of killing Turnbull, Jonah decides to turn him over to the authorities after Sarah has persuaded him that, hey, you may not want to kill your bad guy.
Yeah, because she didn't kill Damien Dark, which I still think was stupid.
I agree.
Because what would that have changed?
Right, and obviously it's going to bite her in the ass. We've talked about that because she's told him everything about what his future is.
My husband and I spent like 20 minutes today yelling, not at each other, but
at the TV,
over each other, because we were like, last year, they spent all last year trying to kill the bad guy. Every episode was kill, kill, kill. And this year they're like, oh, we can't kill him. It will change time. What?
We're heroes now. I don't know.
They were heroes last season. Why don't they just kill him?
Remember, these are like former Arrow writers and whatnot.
I know.
So,
just kill him.
Yeah, so they have to vacillate between those. Killing and not killing.
They didn't care about killing the guy last year.
Okay, Heatwave, settle down.
Yeah.
Or is that Jonah?
Could be either.
Either one.
Take your pick.
Okay.
Use
So
your
with the-
imagination.
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 I know that song. That's a South Park reference for everybody
Imagination land. Yep.
Okay. So with the door star taken back somehow, because, hey, it should be really difficult to lift, Ray decides, I'm going to rebuild my suit.
They beamed it.
Oh, that's right. They beamed it.
Mm-hmm.
So Ray plans to rebuild his suit. But guess what, Nate? I built a suit for you, too.
That's right.
This one right here that I'm holding in my hands is a copy of Justice Society of America #7, drawn by Alex Ross.
Mm-hmm. I love Alex Ross.
And this is a really cool Citizen Steel
It
cover.
is. It looks all shiny.
Yep.
It's very
shiny.
cool.
Shiny, shiny.
Mm-hmm. But
All right.
I'm sure he has enough to build himself a suit.
Yeah.
So.
And
Why
so that way Nate has a suit for the crossover.
I know, but why does he need a suit? He's made of metal.
Because he's Citizen Steel, and Citizen Steel has a suit. That's why.
So we don't see his steel bits?
No.
Is that what the deal is?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So we don't see his steel twig and berries. I don't want to see that. Let's not put that up to the camera, please. He just put his crotch right up to the camera, you guys.
Not mine.
No, not Charles's Citizen
You should
Steel's.
specify this.
Charles put Citizen Steel's crotch right up into the camera. No, thank you.
You were asking about it.
Ross really drew some detail there in the crotch hole area.
Yes, he did. Apparently, he's really into Citizen Steel's crotch.
Because right up close.
So I didn't draw it.
No, you didn't.
So that's on Ross as far as I'm concerned.
It is.
Okay. All right. So that's on Alex Ross. All right. So
it really is.
Maya decides to teach Mick to control his anger. Meanwhile, that subplot that's going nowhere, Martin and Jefferson decide that Martin. They're still debating about whether they should tell everybody about Barry Allen's.
And he's having that weird dream about some other woman.
Headaches of some possible things the timeline has been changed so that Clarissa, his wife, has been replaced once again with another woman.
Right.
So apparently, once again, Clarissa has been written out of existence because of what they did.
Right.
If I was Stein, I would just go back and stay with Clarissa.
Right.
That's what he told his younger self to do.
Right.
Stay with Clarissa. Maybe Stein should follow his own advice.
But he's a dummy.
Well, because he's cool on the show, so we got to keep him around.
I know. He is. He's awesome.
And we get the cliffhanger, of course, at the end where Sarah tells the team, hey, we've got a big crossover coming up. We got to go back to 2016.
Our friends need us.
Our friends need us.
In 2 weeks.
Yes. 2 weeks. So to be continued in 2 weeks as part 4 of the big invasion crossover.
That's right. They're going to be tying everything together.
Yep. So what's your rating for this episode?
I liked it because, of course, Jonah Hex.
Right.
9 bandanas because everyone was disguising themselves with bandanas in this episode, which was pretty funny.
And I would be very happy if, once a season, we get a Jonah Hex episode.
Yes, please.
So at least do one episode.
At least one.
Keep this trend going.
Yeah.
I also enjoyed this one a lot. I give it 8.5 Dwarf Star bullets.
Yeah.
So
nice.
All right.
Outlaw Country, woo!
Yep, Outlaw Country, woo!
Luke Cage, 107,
Luke Cage,
Manifest.
Written by Kella Cooper. Directed by Andy Goddard.
Manifest Destiny.
Yes. So A, B, and C, Karen.
You helped me with this one too. A story is Different Strokes. Stokes.
Different Stokes to rule the world.
Right. And that's for flashbacks. The B story is Mystified.
Yep.
C story is How Mariah Got Her Groove Back. And then the little postscript is He Exploded Real Good.
He blowed up. He blowed up real good. Real good. Yeah.
He blowed up real good.
That's right.
Very nice. Okay, so different Stokes.
That's
Flashbacks. So this is a big flashback episode where we finally get some background on Mariah and Cottonmouth Cornell when as they were growing up, and with they were growing up under their grandmother's control.
Right. Mabel, was that her name?
Yeah. She was this big mobster named Mama Mabel.
Right.
And so, as a kid, Cottonmouth had these big musical talents, and they were encouraged by Uncle Pete, whom Mama Mabel forced Cottonmouth to kill, as we find out during the course of the episode, after learning Pete was making some side dealings with her rivals. And, oh, by the way, he molested your sister, or your cousin, Mariah.
Right.
So
he was Cottonmouth's first kill.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And, because Cottonmouth didn't want to become a criminal. He wanted to become a musician. And it's all because of Mama Mabel that he did.
Right.
She ends up forcing him.
Well, she did something to his finger, right? So he couldn't be a musician. She hurt him.
Yeah, but she also forced him to pull the trigger.
Right.
So, yeah. And shoot that guy. So,
right.
Shoot Uncle Pete.
And she was mad at Pete for selling drugs, too.
Yes.
We don't do drugs.
Yeah, pretty much. So that was a big deal. We got that.
Right.
And Mystified.
This is where, and it's not just Misty, it's also
Scarf and all
Claire.
That. Yeah, Claire. And so, we get, this is following up from last week. We get Scarf's ledger is found inadmissible, and Cottonmouth gets exonerated.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like threatening to expose Luke Cage's real identity as, Carl Lucas. And he kind of like is mocking him as like, man, if my name was Carl Lucas, I'd change my name to Luke Cage too.
Right.
Which, you probably would.
Yeah, I would.
It's a much better name. So Luke decides, okay, I'm going to leave Harlem. But then Claire convinces him to stay and fight.
Mm-hmm.
And we have Misty as part of the Mystified. Misty is getting investigated by the Internal Affairs Bureau because, hey, your partner was apparently all kinds of shady.
Mm-hmm.
And, it just so happens that this guy that you secretly had sex with that we don't know about, but we know that you're close to, is at the center of all this activity going on. So we have that. Luke ends up attacking this rival, the Spanish crime lord, Colon, and takes the weapons that Scarf gave him.
Right.
Gives them back to Misty so that she can turn those in, like, hey, that way you can not worry about those weapons.
So they're off the streets.
Yeah. So he tries to help out Misty, but it doesn't quite work out. Misty finds out that Luke Cage is just an alias. And just as he meets Claire to reveal his true identity, Luke gets shot.
That's right.
By Stryker.
By those bullets that we saw last week.
Yeah.
In the video.
With the Judas bullets.
In the video.
Chitauri bullets.
That's right.
Yeah, that of course leaves him badly wounded, and he's like, no, I've been shot.
Yeah.
Ah.
And Claire can't believe it.
Yeah. Well, Luke's kind of freaked out by it, too.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, what?
Yeah. He looks a bit incredulous. That is correct.
Yeah. Understandable.
Yeah.
So, yeah. It's like, come on, man. I just dug my way out of this rubble, and then now I'm getting shot.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
Yeah.
So, and then our last story, how Mariah got groove back.
Yeah.
What?
Mariah.
Yep.
She doesn't really start to get it back until the very end. She is getting crapped on through most of the episode because Cottonmouth got arrested. Mm-hmm. She doesn't look good because
she lost all her cred.
The reporter outed her as being related to Cottonmouth last week. And the representative from her party has come to chat with her. Oh, you're going to have to step down. I'll take over for you. And she is not happy about that. She talks to Cottonmouth. Even though he got let out, they still don't want her to be there. Her funding has dried up, and she's talking to him, and he doesn't have a lot of sympathy for her.
Nope.
And they meet, and she is unpleased with him.
Unpleased, to say the least.
Yeah.
So she goes there to convince Cottonmouth, her cousin, to let go of his obsession with Luke Cage. Mm-hmm. Which leads, of course, into an argument because they talk about old Uncle Pete, and Cottonmouth tries to say, well, hey, you kind of led Uncle Pete on. Mm-hmm. Mariah's not too happy about that, so she throws Cottonmouth out a window.
Right.
Onto the floor of his club.
Right, because she is not having that.
Yeah,
not at all. He is taunting her.
That totally sets her off, and that's the straw that breaks the camel's back.
Right.
And
when he is incapacitated, he's not dead.
Yep.
He's on the floor writhing around, hurt. She picks up a mic stand and bludgeons him with it, killing him. And
at that moment, Shades walks into the room.
That's right.
He's like, all cool and collected. He's
seeing the opportunity.
Exactly. So he's like, hey, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Why don't we frame Luke Cage for the murder?
And he says, you have taken things into your own hands.
Right.
I mean, isn't that kind of what he says?
Pretty much.
You've taken your power back. Good for you.
Yep. So this is how Mariah got her groove back.
Yeah. And he says, we'll set up Luke Cage, and that's how this episode ends, essentially, is him going and shooting him with the
And
Judith.
Mariah's kind of taken over for Cottonmouth.
Mm-hmm. Well, because she doesn't have any place else to go.
Might as well.
That's right.
I guess I'm going to be a criminal overlord now.
Mm-hmm. And Shades is now going to be her right-hand man, I'm guessing.
Yep.
He saw where
Although I thought Shades works for the other guy, Diamondback.
Well, yeah,
but he's kind of like, overseeing.
Yeah.
For Diamondback.
He's an
advisor.
He's gonna help her, that's for sure.
Yeah.
He saw what side of the bread it was buttered on.
Pretty much.
If Mariah could take him out. Mm-hmm. He's like, alrighty, I'm in this.
Yep. I just got to remember not to step close to any windows.
That's right. Or mic stands.
Exactly.
And I thought it was kind of poetic that, music has been a big part of Cottonmouth's life, and it ended his life as well.
Well, I'm sure the symbolism was completely intentional. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So what's your rating for this episode?
I gave it 9 mic stands. I really liked it.
Yeah, it was very good. I gave it 8.5 Judas bullets.
Yeah.
So we got North Star bullets and we got Judas bullets.
That's right. I really
everywhere.
Want to watch the next episode.
Well, we shall.
Yay.
All right. So that's about it. Do we have any feedback?
Yeah, Justina sent in some feedback. I did not edit it, so I will give it to Rob, and he will drop it in here.
Okay. So this will be the spot where Justina's feedback is.
Yes.
Wasn't that awesome feedback by Justina?
It was great.
Thank you, Justina, for sending that in. I'll get to listen to it eventually.
I'm so sorry for not editing it.
Yeah, I was looking forward to that, but because apparently Justina is way more succinct than we are about
She
this
is.
She gets right to the heart of the matter, and good for her.
But Charles and I have both had very trying weekends.
Yes, we have. So, all right. So, Karen. Well, actually, I should say first, where can they reach us at the Fandom Zone Podcast?
At facebook.com/Fandom Zone Podcast. And you can leave us a note just like Maggie did, and we'll talk to you on the podcast. Leave feedback.
Exactly. You got a shout
like
out.
That.
Maggie got a shout out on the podcast. Why? She sent us a note.
That's right.
See how that works, people?
Right. Or you can email us at fandomzonecast@gmail.com. You can leave us a review on iTunes. We'll read that too. I just checked those today, by the way.
Okay.
Nothing new.
Yeah, and nothing new?
Nothing new.
Okay. Well, it'd be nice to get some of that.
Sure.
So, Karen, where can they reach you?
Well, we're also at Fandom Zonecast on Twitter.
Oh, yes, I should mention that.
That's right. But
I'm glad you're here mentioning this.
They can reach me personally at Aliveria on Twitter. And in my bio is a link to my blog, which has all my other links.
And of course, I'm at Charles Skaggs on the Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
And at Charles Skaggs on the Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Facebook, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Google Plus for you crazy
kids on the Google Plus. Yes.
And my blog of geeky things, Damn Good Coffee and Hot.
Damn good coffee. And hot.
There you go.
Thank you.
I'll play that every time.
Where I talk about all these shows and more. And more all the time.
That's
Got
right.
shows, all kinds of shows.
So busy.
Yeah, we're getting a Humans TV show.
I know. I just saw that. Craziness.
More shows. Ah!
I wanted the other one, though, with Bobby. And
I'm kind of wondering if they're going to cancel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. now.
do you think?
That's possible. I'm not saying they are. I'm just saying it's possible.
So dumb. Bring back Agent Carter.
Yeah. I would like to see Agent Carter come back, at least for like a mid-season replacement.
Right.
Summer show.
Maybe some mini-series.
Yeah.
How about that?
But I am looking forward to finally seeing the Inhuman Royal family.
Sure.
Because I want to see Karnak.
There you go.
Karnak. Yeah, not the Johnny Carson.
I know. You knew exactly what I was doing, though.
Yeah, because I'm old and I know that reference.
Right.
But yeah. Let's see.
He does 3 different things, and yeah, exactly.
3 strippers, a duck, and a windmill. Oh.
You guys seriously look up Johnny Carson Karnak on YouTube because they're hilarious. They really are. He was so funny.
It was a classic.
Yeah.
It was a classic bait in the 70s.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
So good.
All right. So that's it. Anything else?
What is this bizarre segue that's happening right now?
Yes.
Can we maybe...
All right. Well,
no, that's it.
All right. I think that's enough. So we'll take care, everybody. Thank you for listening. Thank you for liking us on Facebook. And we're up to like 106 now. So thanks to everybody who's been liking us on Facebook. Mm-hmm. That is awesome. On the way to 150. And give us some more followers on Twitter. That'd be great, too.
That's right.
Thanks, everybody.
So we'll see you next week
on the Phantom Zone podcast. Bye. Oh my God, they're making out.